Hey there, this is Daniel Soller, also known as Fidelis or Fidelis15 on Magic Online. And I've had a lot of requests, so I'm going to do Cube Draft Online, so we're just jumping into an 8-4 here. I have to admit, I've never used Camtasia before, so if I mess it up, I certainly apologize. Um, Hopefully I don't lose any recordings or any audio. So it's just fired here. So I've been cubing for a fair while now, a couple of years. Had my cube for about 2 years now, and it's definitely one of those things that keeps me in the game. So having a look at this pack, a couple cards jump out at me. Obviously, swords are always something I value very highly. Um, the aggro support in this cube hasn't been great, so cards like Savannah Lions aren't really what I'm looking to pick up early. Basically what it comes down to here is sort of body and mind. I can see, dipping into something like Ancestral Vision. The control decks are actually quite strong. Obviously you can think of like a Fortress or a Godless Shrine, but I think picking up a sword here is going to be best as we move forward, just keeping us colorless. So I'll pick that up now. Yeah, so I have my cube. It's 720 unpowered, somewhat similar to the cube here online. My cube runs Signet, so the fixing is a fair bit better, a lot more artifact mana support. Don't support the storm theme like they do here. It's not something I'm a big fan of. It's a very tough deck to get to work. So having a look at this pack, you've got some pretty big top end stuff. You've got your Ulamog, your Sorin. Cards that I'd be interested in, something like Chameleon Colossus I like. Decree, got a lot of historical love for Decree. Solifuge kind of a nombo with our sword we just picked up, but yeah, what can I say? Aggro is a guilty pleasure of mine. Certainly like Spectral Procession as well. You know, I like the ramp decks that are here. They're actually fairly strong. So I think that being said, I'll probably grab this Chameleon Colossus. I can see that a lot of other cards be taken there, but this is what I like to do. And immediately, we just see a lot of really good red cards. By a lot, I mean two. So a Johnny Vengeance, very powerful card. Being able to +1 it and keep the mana denied is very strong. Siege Gang Commander is also a very strong card. Cards like Original Regat Jack, I still don't understand why they're in this cube. I guess if you're trying to power up something, you can do that. The Taiga's here too. We're probably not going to get that on the wheel. I think probably just the strongest card is clearly a Johnny. It doesn't really fit in with our Chameleon Colossus, but we could always go some sort of Naya deck. So yeah, what else is screwing up? Take the Ajani here and see what happens. Oh boy. Well, follow up the Ajani. If we wanted to keep on with the Naya theme, we could take an Avacyn's Pilgrim. Don't really like the Wall of Blossoms here. Ancient Tomb is actually quite fine and very good in powering out your early drops. Sun Titan's a pretty big game. Still not quite sure where I want to go. I definitely don't want to go into black at this point. Aggro is pretty bad in this cube, so having big end stuff like Sun Titan I do like. So I think I'll grab it here. See where we go. And we have this pack. So good removal, Volcanic Hammer. Mana Denial or Schadenport goes nicely with the Ajani Vengeance. think I'm actually just gonna take Porcelain Legionnaire. 3-1 for 2 is quite strong. Get it back with Sun Titan as well. Yeah, take the Porcelain Legionnaire. Whew. Something Torian Mauler, it just always surprises me. Like, such a great multiplayer card, just not something that I want to see in this cube. For me, the picks, Silver Knight's fine. Mind Sensor is also fine. I really don't want to take a Mind Sensor. I don't want to take a Silver Knight either. Wayfarer is just not something I'm looking for right now. We'll take the Mind Sensor. Randomly hose somebody. Here I'm definitely going to be taking the Incinerate. But yeah, I don't want to dip into black just yet. We've been passing a lot of good black cards, and I'll just let them keep going. Yeah, I'll take the burn spell here. I mean, Boros isn't exactly my favorite thing, especially when you've got your random Sun Titan at the top. But if we are going to go into this, let's start going in hard. And obviously, you have to value your 1-drops very highly. I kind of wish I had that Silver Knight a little way back. Yeah, let's grab an Elite Vanguard. And so obviously 2 cards here. Hellspark Elemental is very good. A lot better in the red decks than the Boros decks, which have a lot more value off Anthem effects. Calciderm's pretty strong. Yeah, I mean, I'll take the Calciderm. Again, doesn't work very well with the sword, but whatever. Pulse the Forge, Solifuge. I'll take me a Captain Tickles. Let's get Ticklet. Okay, and Siege Gang Wield. That is a gift. Yeah, absolutely no problem taking a Siege Gang here. And a Firecat. Okay, well, clearly someone in this world wants us to be red, so I will not let them down. I'm probably going to hide this Colossus. Let's go to Consort. Interesting. Sun Titan's starting to seem not the best here. Hellspark Elemental would have been pretty good too. Now that we're getting a fair number of 4-drops. Yeah, so I've been cubing for a while. I mean, I'm in my 2nd year of medical school up in Canada, so there hasn't really been a lot of time for me to play Magic. Recently, I kind of had to stop playing. Countryside Crusher is pretty good. Playing competitively, I used to play quite competitively, and just I haven't had the time for it. And Cube is one way for me to actually get to play competitively with friends. Stay adrift of the sets that come out, because there's a lot of evaluation that needs to go on once a new set comes out. What are you going to put in? How are you going to evaluate cards? So it's really good for keeping me here. And this pack is awful. I mean, see, this is the thing with this cube, is that just about every card you see here, Chroma, Nebdis, Root Awakening, Vampire, like, they're all just top-end cards. I mean, for us, like, the best card in this pack, I would say, is easily Bitter Blossom. But, I said, I don't want to touch black. Having looked at some of the late black cards that won the last pack, maybe we're missing out on it, but I mean, I'd say based off where we are now, the only card for us is Chandra's Phoenix, and I'm not really that excited about it at all. Not exactly the position I want to be in first picking at Chandra's Phoenix, especially when we have this big glut of 3-drops. And this pack, Lone Lion, but we're not going to be playing green. I mean, Mirror Crusader's good, but look, we have a lot of 3-drops already. I'm just going to be taking the Grim Lavamancer, maybe pick up a fetch land or 2, make him a little better later on. I mean, I do love my kitties, and they're both pretty good. I think there's a good chance of actually one of these wheeling. Maybe if we wanted to go into some sort of Naya Brew, it's still available. Thalia is actually quite good. I'm going to take a Mox Diamond. Really good for fixing mana, especially if we do want to take one of these green cards later. The Coddle's fine off a splash when you're playing a Boros deck because it's going to get the bonus. Now, Mox Diamond's really kind of a hit or miss card, I find. A lot of people really enjoy what it provides, and some are, the disadvantage of discarding a land. You know what happens when you draw a late game, but that game where you can power it out, you feel pretty good. No interest in taking the Battle Mage. We're certainly not going Storm. Don't want to be taking a sideboard card. Some fixing still going around. I mean, I'm probably going to take the Molten Masticore. I mean, for our deck, it's probably the best. Why is my mouse doing this? So yeah, we'll take the Masticore and maybe play it, maybe not. Easy pick here. I'm just going to snap up the Isamaru. Again, 1-drop's very important for this deck, and we're not missing out on that much. I do like Mirror Entity, and of course I like Pillage. I do love my land destruction, but Isamaru is very important for what this deck wants to do. Looking at this, like cards which probably won't make it in our Sun Titan, Mind Sensor's not the best. Well, we've got our fixing, which is Arid Mesa, but we don't have any duels to get. I'd have no problem with it, except for the fact that there's a Jackal Pup here, and like I said, 1-drops are just so important. We might even wheel a Tattermunch Maniac or a Mishra's Factory, which I would be very, very happy with. Shrine of Burning Rage also, so probably the Death Mark is most likely to come back, but I'll take the Jackal Pup and see where that leaves us. So 2 cards I like here. I don't like the double white cards, the Knights, Black Knight, White Knight, Whip Quarter, Knight of the White Orchid kind of cards when you're in a Boros deck, just because red's very greedy. So, I mean, we're looking at either Torch Fiend or Brimstone Volley. Our removal right now isn't that good. We have an Incinerate, Johnny pseudo removal, Molten Tail if we decide to play it. That being said, there is something to be said about, curving out properly, and Torch Fiend will allow us to do that. Probably the wrong pick, but given the way that our creature curve looks right now, I think it's probably appropriate. And okay, so Praise of Progress can be very punishing against some decks. I don't particularly like it, just because it can be very hit or miss. Blood Knight, like I mentioned before, pretty good if you're trying to curve out properly. I don't like it. Urabrask, you only want 1 or 2 cards which cost 5+ mana in this style of deck. We already do have a Hyatt. I really am not looking to take an Urabrask. I'll probably just take a Blood Knight here. And in our original pack wheel, then lo and behold, there is absolutely nothing for us. So what is the card we at least want to play against? Play against? And it's clearly Obstinate Baloth. So we'll cack that from somebody. Also, I want to apologize. I'm a little sick right now, so sorry if I sound very boring and monotone. Also, my fiance is asleep in the other room, and I don't want to talk too loud and wake her up. Same thing. I'm just gonna cack the hierarchy. I don't want people gaining 4 against me. I mean, my favorite. I'm sad that it doesn't say that it can't intercept like the actual portal card. It's one of our running jokes. So good that it can't intercept. I mean, obviously, we don't want Pulse of the Forge. D-Force is doing nothing. I'll take it on the off chance, but I don't think so. And I mean, Goody, a Palancron. Black's been kind of open, but I don't really care that we're missing out on it. I'll take the Battle Mage, but I really don't think we're playing it. I also don't think we're playing this Jungle Lion at this point. I would love for someone to play Negator against us. I'll cut the Sarkhan. You got a Tattermunch Maniac back, which is not irrelevant. Would have liked the Mishra's Factory more, but that's alright. So we're sitting at 22 cards. Mox Diamond does count as a card. You can't count it as a land. And I think the pick here is pretty clear. I mean, Fire Blast is very good, much better in mono red than it is in this style of deck. Exalted Angel is a pretty good game, but I don't think that's what we're looking for here. I mean, I just want to take the piece of fixing. Being able to go, Isamaru into Blood Knight, kind of impossible without my mouse, or is kind of impossible without stuff like this. We missed an Arid Mesa, but we'll pick up a Sacred Foundry now. Excuse me. Couple cards here we're interested in. We are absolutely not a Wildfire deck. I'd like to point that out. Face Fetter is very good against us. Probably not good for us. Cloud Goat Ranger is very good. But cards like this are a dime a dozen in this cube. The ones that cost 4+ mana that have a pretty good impact. I mean, could take a Raging Ravine and splash that Jungle Lion, but no thank you. I'm just going to take the Keldon Marauders, 2-drop. Gets in for 5, best case scenario. Worst case scenario, it dings in for 2 and trades with something, or it does something. It's a pretty good card. Huh. So we've got an Arc Trail, very good. Also a Clifftop Retreat. There's also a Flicker Wisp I like too, and Cataclysm is pretty interesting. Cataclysm when you have a Johnny, it's pretty sweet. I don't know if that's what we're into right now. Arc Trail or Clifftop Retreat. I like Flicker Wisp too. There's a lot of cards I like here. I could be wrong, but I think we need the fixing at this point. So I'll take the Clifftop Retreat. Probably wrong. Maybe we'll wheel that Arc Trail. We got a Zozu. Thunderblast. Yeah, again, I don't want to be drafting triple red 5-drops. Not what I'm looking to do. Good old Smokestack. Mimic Vat's a pretty good card against us, I think. Obviously Lingering Souls is insane against us. Someone's with the Orzhov special. I was going to take a Zozu. It's funny, I was hearing people talk about Opt, and originally when I put my cube I had Opt in it, but it's just not, it's a do-nothing card. People are saying, oh yeah, it's insane, it helps you get online with Delvers, but it actually doesn't, because you look at your card, and if you want it, you draw it. Delver can't do anything, and oh boy. Whew. So, I mean, we've got a Goblin Legionnaire, but absolutely not. Not when there are Keldon Champion and Ravages of War. I mean, Ravages is just, it's too insane to pass up. Geddon effects are great, especially when we have a Mox Diamond, we can get into a Ravages, maybe curve out properly. I absolutely love Keldon Champion, one of my, probably, after Koth, my favorite red 4-drop. But, Ravages, I don't know why Shelldock Isle's still in here. No one appreciates Shelldock Isle like I do. Whew. Follow up our Ravages with a Crucible of Worlds. It's a pretty good game. Get that land back from Mox Diamond. Yeah, we're just going to be taking Flame Tongue Kabu here. Pretty heavy on the 4-drops. At this point, I'm probably going to cut a Blistering Firecat, maybe. I mean, it's the best card. I would argue it's top 5 red cards in the cube. Okay, so I remember I was talking about the value of 1-drops. Strong Kirknoble is not great, but he's good. Searing Blaze, I feel pretty bad, taking all these 1-drops, but not picking up any removal. 1-drops are just so important to this deck. I mean, you have so many dudes, right? 21 creatures, and we're just playing the all dudes special. I'll take a Searing Blaze. And, oh jeez. Okay, so we have a Bloodbraid Elf. We got no, jeez, this is a good pack. So we have a Bloodbraid Elf, Wasteland, Arc Lightning, and a very far away 4th on Mortar Pod. Land Death is very important. I certainly wish we had that Crucible. Let me show all. Do we have anything that we can do to... okay. Not really. Probably splash the Blood Raid off the Mox Diamond. That card's just so insane. Oh, it's so insane. We'll take an Arc Lightning. I know that's bad. You know, I'm gonna feel bad about that one later. Yeah, alright, we'll take a Fire Blast. Excuse me. Yeah, not much to say. Let's take a Fire Blast out of that. Oh man, we could have gone Treetop Village and Blood Raid off. I'll take a sideboard card here. Yeah, we're still not a Wildfire deck, as much as I would love to Sun Titan. Play a Wildfire. Jeez, pretty good. Let's take a sideboard card. So, not interested in taking Tin Street Hooligan. Pretty good card, but not what I'm looking for here. This card's pretty good. Flicker Wisp. Do we have any synergy with Flicker Wisp? Absolutely none. Exile target permanent. Cataclysm. Sorry, ran out of time there. Nothing. Take a Smokestack. Oh, and not bad for the first Q draft I do on video. I'll take a Keldon Champ. So apparently we're mono 4 Okay, that's a crucial. Was it Wasteland the next pack? Can I get a Wasteland? And we get an Oust. Not what I'm looking for. After a lot of thoughtful building, this is the deck I think I'm putting forward for this round. Take the land out of here for a second. So we have 23 cards, sort by mana cost. Of note, I do have a Tattermange Maniac, if I can pronounce correctly, sitting in the board. I mean, it is a 1-drop, but it's one of the worst. I mean, attacking each turn, you know, sometimes you are chump attacking. It's sometimes just a blood-crazed Neonate, and we're not crazy for that card. I was thinking about the kind of interesting synergy here with Smokestack, Crucible, you know, bin our lands and slowly grind them out, but, you know, I love the aggro build. I was actually very close to just considering, you know, just doing the mono red, but you know, having Elite Vanguard and Nisamaru were just, you know, too important. You know, you need a critical mass of 1-drops for that deck to be good, and you know, if we ended up just cutting white, then we wouldn't be there, even though you had in, you know, your Solifuge, your Blistering Firecat. It just wouldn't have been worth it. So that's our deck. Throw the lands back in there. I went with 10-5 Mountains Plains because I do want to hit that double white for Calciderm. You know, other cards, I mean, we have an interesting sideboard plan. You know, Cataclysm's pretty sweet. You know, I do love that card, but you know, we already have Ravages. But yeah, so this is what I'm going to be putting forth. You know, again, like cards that, you know, could easily be put in as well. These cards are pretty fun. You know, Mind Sensor is pretty fringe. I don't think I want to be ousting anytime soon. But yeah, I wouldn't mind sideboarding in a Smokestack if I had to. Molten Tail is on the fence about, but I just, you know, it's not my favorite card. It does do a fair amount, but you know, we've got some pretty slick 4-drops already, and you know, Calciderm is one of my pet cards. A lot of people don't like it, but I certainly like it. So this is what I'll be submitting, and we'll be back for round 1.